What's going on, you guys? It's Paul from PV Sports Talk here, jumping back in with you. And I'm going to hit up on a topic here. Top NFL job openings. This one is like another passionate topic that I'm speaking about because, I watch X all day. I watch social media all day. I have to because of this being what I do. And it's like, you have the fanatic, right? Fandom. Fan is short for fanatic. Everybody thinks that they have the best opportunity. They have the best job. They have the best roster. We have this draft pick. We have that guy. We have, oh my gosh, John Harbaugh's coming to us. And, Mike McDaniel, this is the place you want to be. All right. Let me cover this a bit. All right. So I have 8 teams up on the screen right now. Okay. One of those is, or 2 of those is Green Bay and Pittsburgh, which are pending potential firings. There's word now at the time of this video, which is Monday, January 12th, and we're at about 12:50 p.m. Word is that Green Bay is going to try to work out a new contract with Matt LaFleur. Massive mistake. Sorry. And I used to love Matt LaFleur. Not a Green Bay fan, but I'm done with him now. I'm just done. He's not the guy. He's too conservative. Long body of work there. Check out my video on YouTube. Scan that QR code up in the upper right-hand corner there. And when you get there, smash the subscribe button, and you can see it right there. It's just released yesterday. A lot of people have jumped in and commented on it, and it's something I think you guys you'd enjoy seeing. So we'll see. I'll give you a prediction right now. Tonight is Mike Tomlin's final coaching appearance for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to end tonight. Houston's going to take care of business. That is a ferocious defense. And, Aaron Rodgers, king of the 2-step drop, 3-step drop, ball out. They just don't have the tools to be able to focus, to laser in against a team like this and get it done. They can get away with it with some other teams. They got away with it last week, but it's not Houston's defense. So it ends tonight for Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see what happens with Green Bay. But let's just assume for a moment that each of these 8 jobs end up being open. Number 1 job available out of all of them, in my opinion, and I don't have Arizona up here, in fairness, okay? Number 1 job of these is the New York Giants. That is far and away the number 1 job. What criteria and I'm going to talk about the criteria that I would look at and what I believe coaches are looking at. As someone who's a former coach myself, never at that level, but a former coach myself, what I would look for, right? And understanding how things kind of go on the inside and rosters and boards or administration or athletic department, all the type of different things at the lower levels, and then what these guys are looking at the higher levels, in my opinion, having, a lot of experience with this and studying this day by day by day. So the Giants is the number 1 job. Green Bay, if it comes available, is the number 2 job. Atlanta, number 3 job. Ravens 4. Miami 5, Pittsburgh 6, Cleveland 7, and Tennessee 8. Those are not all the coaching candidates. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, or 7 up there. Kevin Stefanski, Brian Flores, Robert Saleh, Mike Tomlin, should he get fired tonight, as I think he will. John Harbaugh, Jesse Minter, and Mike McDaniel. I do not believe that Mike McDaniel is head coaching material at this point in time in his career. I just don't. I think he would step in and be the best OC, or at least in the top 2 or 3 OCs. Josh McDaniels and Mike McDaniel, and then you got Mike McDonald. I mean, it's the McDonald crew over there. So Mike McDaniel steps in, and I think he's on the level of a Josh McDaniels over in New England. Brian Flores, long overdue for another shot, and we all know why that is. And it has nothing to do with race. You trolls out there and you people who are going to hit up my account, has nothing to do with race. It has to do with his comments and his threats to sue, and I think that worked against him. Now that has faded some. I mean, you can't argue the man's talent and ability. You can't argue what he did in Miami, so he's on that list. Robert Saleh, I think that guy's up for a second chance. He'll get it here at some point. Mike Tomlin, I actually don't think he's going to coach next year. I think he'd probably take a year away, a lot like Sean Payton did, and get in the studio and maybe talk for a year, or just step away altogether for a year. We'll see on that. John Harbaugh is the fanciest name. He's the sexiest name. I don't think he is the best name available. Jesse Minter, newer, younger guy on the block. I believe he's 41. And Mike McDaniel, as I said. So the number 1 person available on this list, in my opinion, this probably shock a lot of you, is Jesse Minter. Why would I say such a thing? Well, I think he's one of the new upcoming young bloods. So if you look at John Harbaugh, he's 63. If you look at Mike Tomlin, he's getting up there a little bit. Brian Flores, I think, is a great candidate. Actually, Brian Flores might be the second. Actually, I'm going to say it. Yeah, he's the second best candidate on this list. No, it's not John Harbaugh. Listen, John Harbaugh, great guy. He is a really good football coach. He's a really good leader of men. He will represent a franchise at the highest level, okay? But John is very, very, very conservative, in my opinion. And he holds his teams back. That's my opinion. He's held the Ravens back for years. He should have been fired many, many years ago. That's my opinion. If you're looking for a guy to come in and be status quo and run your program, make sure you guys do all things the right way and have an opportunity to make the playoffs, he's probably your guy. If you want somebody who's going to be a difference maker and is going to be in your program for the next 10, 15, 20 years, Jesse Minter is your guy. A Kevin Stefanski's more like your guy. A Robert Saleh's more like a guy. But again, Mike McDaniel in a few years of seasoning, maybe, or maybe he's just a coordinator for the rest of his career, like a Josh McDaniels who tried twice and it didn't go well. I want no part of Mike Tomlin as my head coach. Same kind of thing as Harbaugh. I really hold them kind of like a 1A in terms of similarity. If you want your program to be steady, if you want your program to be around 10 wins, if you want to be sniffing around the playoffs every year, if you want things to do right, you want a good face to your franchise, those guys are good for that. If you want difference makers to get you to the dance and then do damage in the dance, those are not your guys. 19 years, 18 years respectively, both been to a Super Bowl once, both won it once, but they're eons ago. It's like it's almost not even on the radar. You have to be going to multiple Super Bowls if you're going to be someplace 18, 19 years. Sorry. Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, these long-tenured guys, many Super Bowl appearances. And in their cases, those two guys' cases, many Super Bowl wins. You cannot be in a place for 18, 19 years and not achieve it more than once. Sorry. That's just my own personal expectation. The expectation, the demand, what you should hold of yourself is not to get to the playoffs. Your goal every year, in my opinion, as a franchise, as an organization in college, it's the same way. In college, it should be the number one goal is a national championship. That should be the focus of your goal, not your conference. If you are focusing as it's national championship or bust, then the rest will take care of itself along the way. It's the same thing, Super Bowl or bust. If we don't get to the Super Bowl, we failed. Point blank, period. That should be the goal every single year. If you are doing that, then all of the other stuff, division, 10 wins, 11 wins, 12 wins, that stuff, potential buy or home field and potential buy, that stuff will all take care of itself. The highest level should be your goal. Mike Tomlin, 10 wins in a row, 17, 18 years. Who cares? Like literally, who cares? Do you think any of the Pittsburgh fans want to just win 10 games? I guarantee you not. The Rooney family is one of the most loyal set of owners and family in the history of ever. Right? What team over 60 years or whatever it is has just 3 head coaches? It's unheard of. And so it's loyalty to a fault. And I think Baltimore got tired of it. Sometimes it just runs its course and it's time for a change. I think that change happens tonight after the Houston game or tomorrow, the next day, after this game tonight. And I don't think it's going to go well. It's not going to look pretty. It's not. But I'm happy for Mike that it's at home and he's kind of going to get a swan song. And after they get dusted pretty good tonight, they're going to probably give him a standing ovation, and he does deserve it. Mike's been good for the game. Mike's been good for leadership. I know he's helped a lot of people along the way. I like Mike Tomlin. I was always a fan of Mike Tomlin, but I'm a fan of winning, and I'm a fan of winning at the highest level. And when I coached, I had 7 championships. If I didn't win every year, I was sick to my stomach, literally sick to my stomach. And I don't think that Mike has that. I don't think John has that. And I think they're just okay. I think they're just okay middling. And I don't think that that's the top thing. Now, Minter, he has no real experience. He has no experience as a head coach. He's a defensive-minded guy, just a lot like Mike McDonald. And I think that Jesse has had success everywhere he's been, college level, pro level, multiple pro stops. He's doing it again in San Diego. Look at him last night, 16-3 against New England, holding that team to 16 points, and down on injuries, guys missing. And he's clearly an innovative mind. It's just on the defensive side of the ball. If he puts around, successful people around him, top-notch guys around him, and gets a really good offensive mind and in tandem like that, he could really, really be something special and can be of the Mike McDonald ilk in that you're looking at a difference maker for the next 15 years. So that's who I think are the guys there. Let me address the Cleveland Brown fans. And I've got some people that I've connected with in Cleveland now for some time. Let's say over the last 6-8 months or the year since the whole Shedeur Sanders thing. And I kind of got on the map and was known for being the only person in the world to predict on January 19, 2025, that Shedeur Sanders would be a fifth round draft pick. And then every single video and comment that I've made about him up to date, some of it has a shelf life and has to go through, such as he'll be out of the NFL in 3 years from the day he started, such as he'll be a clipboard holder and he won't accept that. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things. You can see that on YouTube. All the videos are there. I was brought on a national show because of that prediction and that what I saw that a lot of people didn't see. A lot of people outside of the league didn't see. 31 teams passed on him. They passed on him for a reason. But Cleveland thinks that they have this incredible, opportunity as a franchise for a coach to come and take. I couldn't disagree more. It is literally one of the most dysfunctional franchises in the history of sports. Jimmy Haslam is a horrible, and I've said it a million times. I'm so sick and tired of saying it. But I guess, when you're in it, and growing up a Detroit Lions fan my entire life, we understood it with the Ford family until it changed 5 years ago. You kind of get blinded. You're like in a matrix, and they got you believing all this type of stuff. Jimmy Haslam is not a good football owner. He was a good business owner. He is a meddler. He signs off on horrible decisions, one after another, like nonstop. Like, how could you continue on with Andrew Berry when Andrew Berry spent multiple years with you, left for a year, came back? He had a decent draft, of course. We're going to give him that. But he drafted a quarterback in the 3rd round and in the 5th round. And you can see my video up there. It's like, it's a no-win situation. It's actually a lose, 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 lose. It's all lose. Put Dylan Gabriel in. Everybody wants Sanders. Put Sanders in, and he doesn't do well, you're shot. Take Sanders out, you're racist. Don't play Sanders, you're racist. It's a circus show over there. You have a beat reporter that while Dylan Gabriel's getting his first few starts trying to get his feet wet, on Sundays, she's a beat reporter for I think the Cleveland Plain Dealer, but she's got credentials and access to be around the team. So she speaks on behalf of the team, and she has an opportunity to interview people. So on Sundays, she's actively tweeting about the other guy. So if Dylan Gabriel is playing, she's actively tweeting about what a great quarterback Shedeur Sanders is, and he should have a chance. She's a needler. She's a problem. Shedeur Sanders is a catastrophic problem. I told everybody January 19, 2025, nothing has proved differently. He can make an occasional throw here and there. He's not a leader. He can't read NFL defenses. He's been enabled his whole life as a player. He's never had to do things the right way. Stefanski saw it early on, and now you start to see, way too late, by the way, after all the damage has been done, and you're auditioning quarterbacks throughout an entire season. I mean, that's supposed to be for offseason. That's supposed to be for rookie camps. That's supposed to be for training camps. That's supposed to be for preseason. You don't run this circus audition, with Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And should we do hit? Did we do that? Should we trade him? It's a circus. It's the way they believe in operating things. So when you talk about a guy like John Harbaugh, though I don't think he's the man to get really any team over the hump, truthfully, like as a result of him, John Harbaugh has some standards. And John Harbaugh is like 63 years old. You think John Harbaugh, like they're all talking, we have a really good chance at getting John Harbaugh. You think John Harbaugh wants to come to the Cleveland Browns and deal with what I'm just talking about? You don't think he knows? You don't think he has ears and eyes everywhere? You don't think he has these feelings about Jimmy Haslam and what Andrew Berry's done, and they've made themselves look like idiots? You don't think he knows about all the needlers around the program? You don't think he knows about the media and all they talk about is this Shedeur Sanders thing? You don't think that John Harbaugh knows that even if Haslam and Berry and the brass over there don't force Shedeur Sanders down his throat, do you not think that John Harbaugh doesn't understand all the backlash that's going to come from that? because of all the cultish behavior circling around that franchise, and Shedeur Sanders this and that, and he's got the number 1 selling jersey, and John Harbaugh, you're a piece of crap. You come in here and you don't give him a chance. You're racist. It's not going to stop. It's going to continue. Why would he want to do that? Why would Mike Tomlin want to do that? Why would anybody who has a historical significance of any kind as a head coach, like a proven commodity, why would anybody do that? That's a new first-time coach, and it isn't a Jesse Minter kind of guy, by the way. It's a tier 2 or tier 3 first-time guy. So like a Tommy Rees, as an example, who's in the program, who's the OC, who's familiar with all of that going on over there. That's something more like him. Go ahead and cut your teeth for the Cleveland Browns. You've never been a head coach. You're new to the whole game as it is. This is an opportunity for you to become a head coach, kind of make a name for yourself. If you strike gold in some kind of way, well, you set yourself up either for long-term future with the Browns or with somebody else. John Harbaugh's not coming there. Oh, he's got history there and this and that. No. The Giants are the best job on the map. Do you know why the Giants are the best job on the map? And here's what I think these coaches are looking for. It isn't just the money, right? That's a big part of it, but it's the money. It's the term of the deal. It's the power and control in decision-making. It's the GM. You see, a guy like John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, these types of guys that have been around, they're interviewing the program. I always say program, but they're interviewing the franchise and the owners just as much as the owner is interviewing them. They have certain needs. They have certain demands. And when you are in this group and you are a John Harbaugh who has had success and he's won a Super Bowl, I don't think it's enough success for 18, 19 years, Tomlin and him respectively, but he can command your attention. And the Browns need John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh doesn't need the Browns. He has all the leverage. They have zero, literally. Yes, sir. No, sir. Maybe so, sir. They need stability. Oh, by the way, on the Cleveland Browns thing, you still got Deshaun Watson hanging around there. Somebody says, yeah, but John Harbaugh's going to have the decision to be able to make that. He's going to have the right to make that decision. They're going to give it to him. Who said he wants to be involved in the decision with Deshaun Watson? I mean, the dude was accused by 22, 23, 24 women, and the only reason that it stopped being talked about is because he paid them off. It's crazy money. He's been out of the game for how long? You can't win with Deshaun Watson either, meaning if you try him and it doesn't work, you lose. If you try him and it does win, he's got 1 year left on his deal. Then what? What are you going to pay him more? If he comes out and has a great year, you're going to pay him more than he's already making? It's a lose-lose. And the people in Ohio, God bless them, they're great fans, right? You guys deserve the best. You deserve better than what Jimmy Haslam is giving you, okay? But John Harbaugh is not coming to you. He's just not coming to you. Mike Tomlin's not coming to you. When you have a job like the Giants open with great ownership group, history, Jackson Dart's your quarterback. And somebody, by the way, somebody said this yesterday, and it's just silly talk. Yeah, I don't think the Giants are, very attractive because Jackson Dart doesn't play a sustainable type of quarterback. I got news for you. They don't have any wide receivers over there after Malik Neighbors went down. You think Jackson Dart wants to run around every single play? No, he does not. You got to get Neighbors healthy, and you got to put the weapons around him. Wan'Dale Robinson's nice. Theo Johnson's nice. You mix in some other guys, you bring some talent, put it around him. He will be more of a drop back type quarterback. He can make all those throws. He can progress, go through progressions, make all the reads necessary, and do what he needs to do. So it's attractive from a Jackson Dart standpoint, from a Neighbor standpoint. They've got multiple guys on the defensive side of the ball. They've got players galore on both sides. All right. New York market, the whole nine. He can command big, big money. But he's got stability. They'll give him some power. You still got, Joe Schoen over there. But Joe's going to kind of step aside and say, all right, I'm with you, John. Let's do this together. Green Bay, if it opens, obviously all the similar reasons. There's talent, all over the field. Defensively, you got to get Micah Parsons back healthy. Defensively, you have to make some improvements, but offensively, regardless of what anybody out there thinks, and this is part of a Matt LaFleur problem, there's lots of talent on that offense. Matthew Golden, who was opened up as a present, supposed to be a Christmas present, and they opened it up on frickin', Halloween. Like, you waited so long. That guy's had talent all year long. I know you have a full wide receiver room, but that's ridiculous. And you saw what he could do a couple of nights ago. Totally ridiculous, folks. That's coaching. You want to keep Bo Melton out there? You want a Dontavian Wicks? Are you freaking crazy? That's Matt LaFleur's decision, or lack thereof. So there's a lot of talent in Green Bay. Atlanta, Michael Penix, Bijan Robinson. They've got Drake London. They got a couple of really budding superstars on defense. Really good program. Arthur Blank's a really solid owner. There's some things going on there. The Ravens, number 4, and I struggle to put them at 4, but I can't put the other teams ahead of them. I don't like the Ravens setup. I don't like the Ravens roster. I don't like Lamar Jackson as a quarterback. I don't think he's the answer. So I don't really think that that's an attractive job. And obviously it's not for John Harbaugh anyways. And I don't think Mike Tomlin's going there. Miami, I do think is an attractive job, though I'm not a fan of Stephen Ross as an owner. I think that's another guy, very successful in business, but not a very good owner at all. But you have a warm market. There's ties again with Harbaugh to the Florida market. It's kind of something to say, hey, I've played in Baltimore. It's cold. I could go to Cleveland. I could go to Green Bay if it opens. I could go to Pittsburgh if it opens. It's cold weather market. I kind of want to go to Miami. I kind of want to be like my brother, grew up in the Midwest. And, now we're going to kind of, he went to LA and I'm going to go to Florida. There's something there to be said about a Pittsburgh, long history, obviously loyalty through and through. There's massive roster issues there. Horrible signing, getting DK Metcalf. Aaron Rodgers was a stopgap measure, obviously. Beyond that, TJ Watt's getting old, beaten down, beaten up. There's issues there, serious issues. Cleveland, I've talked about. Tennessee, that is a roster from hell. I mean, Cam Ward, that's a reason maybe you want to go there. But John Harbaugh's not going there. Mike Tomlin's not going there. These guys don't want to start over. They want something that's a little bit more ready-made that they can tweak here, tweak there, and they have a chance to make a run and get one, if not more, Super Bowls. And there's more pressure. I shouldn't say pressure. There's more of a time sensitivity on somebody like Harbaugh, most likely because of age. I think he's 63, and Tomlin, I think, is 53, somewhere right in there. So he's got to buy a decade. John Harbaugh's not for this game, till he's like 70, 72. I don't see it. He's a pretty young 63, but I don't see it. So this notion out there about we have it so good and what more could they want? Guys, we live in a world too, by the way, this is really important. I could tell you this as a business owner, and I'll be with you just a couple more minutes here. As a business owner, I can tell you that if you're interviewing anybody at any type of level or tier where there are options out there, that person is interviewing you, the recruiter or the interviewer, as much or more than they are. And that goes all the way up to the NFL in the same identical way. Our world has changed. It used to be you go into an interview, you stay quiet, you answer all those questions, and if they want you, then they make you an offer, or you'll receive an email, or you'll get a phone call, or maybe you'll get a second interview. That's a lot of that is done. So when an interviewer or a recruiter says at the end of the conversation, do you have any questions for me? That wasn't always asked. There wasn't always questions that were asked. I would say that was wrong. It should have always been asked. But 15, 20 years ago, they didn't care about what you thought. They didn't care about what you asked. Now it isn't always money. It's culture. It's chemistry. It is any type of hybrid nature, work from home nature. What is your plan? Where are you at? All of these types of things are now questioned at not just an executive level or a click or two down from an executive level. It's kind of going all the way down, even into the labor levels. Very, very hard to get good people in our world today to work. And so the employer, what used to be the employee, used to have all the leverage. It is not that way anymore. It's changing back a little bit, but the employee still has the leverage. So the employer needs to listen to the employee more than the vice versa. A lot of it in coaching too. There's 32 jobs. The demand on winning is extraordinary. There's no team in the NFL that's worth less than $3.5-4 billion, and the majority of them are in the $5 billion, $6 billion and up. And so you don't want to. You're not making a hire to then have to then want to make a new hire in 3 years. You want it at this level. You want it to last. You want to get a 7, 8, 9, 10 year run. And you need a guy like Minter to do that, a guy like Flores to do it, McDaniel, Stefanski, Seth, Robert Saleh. These guys are younger, and they can stay with you for a decade, a dozen years, no problem. That's not going to be Harbaugh, most likely not going to be Tomlin, but those other guys, yes. But all of these guys, with the even Minter knows what his value is. He should. I think he does. He's got to know that he's one of the new young and up-and-comers, a bright mind who's had success, and now this is just the next step. He understands his value. His value in terms of a slotting salary scale isn't going to be what some of the others are on that list, granted, but he understands he has some leverage. These NFL owners, you have very few Andy Reids left, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, very few. Pete Carroll's now gone. Very few of those guys. It's a lot of younger, bright minds that are in and around the game. Ben Johnson, Sean McVay, Dan Campbell. The list is throughout the entire league. So, Cleveland, you're in trouble, guys. I hate to tell you. Until something, and you should have gutted it. If you were going to gut Stefanski and you were going to make him the scapegoat, well, then you should have attached him and Barry's wagon together and just started fresh. And then here's another thing. A lot of these coaches want the ability to pick their own GM. You can agree or disagree with that, but a guy like Harbaugh, you understand why he wants it. He doesn't want to play personnel games. Same thing with Tomlin. They've been through that. Even a guy like Stefanski, who doesn't have the credibility, the tenure, the success as those guys. I mean, I guess you could say he's a 2-time coach of the year, but he's never established their type of success. These guys want some say in it. They want to know that they're going someplace where philosophically you're in line. Very difficult to do that. They don't want to be yes men to an owner like most guys, like a Mike McCarthy, like a Jason Garrett, like a Brian Schottenheimer are to Jerry Jones. That's not what these guys are. They're not going to follow your instruction per se. They're going to go along with you. They're not there to listen to you. They're there to be side by side with you and win with you. They're not the new guy on the block. They're just not. They're going to understand what you want as a franchise, but they're going to put their stamp on it because they've already done it. And they're going to just the next step. And they're going to learn from it. They're going to take, what they did over in Baltimore and Tomlin, what he did over in Pittsburgh, even Stefanski to a degree. That dude, I'm telling you, he might not be the greatest coach in the world, but what he's been through in terms of that cesspool of garbage over there, it's like he probably wanted to be fired. I don't know too many people in my life, or I have never met too many people in my life to say, I want to get fired. I bet you Stefanski in his, his private time with his wife or his family or whomever his confidants are is like, man, I kind of hope I get fired. There's only 32 of these jobs, but Cleveland is so bad. I can't win. There's nothing I can do. Not because I don't know what I'm doing, because they don't give me the weapons. They gave me this Shedeur Sanders freaking debacle. There's nothing I can do that would make it right. I can't even give Dylan Gabriel a fair shot. I can't give Joe Flacco, and then you go trade Joe Flacco. So it's like, I don't want Shedeur Sanders. I guarantee you that Kevin Stefanski did not want Shedeur Sanders. And it has nothing to do with his color, trolls. Zero. Shedeur Sanders is not an NFL quarterback. Period. So these guys have demands. They have questions. They're interviewing people, and they want nothing to do with Cleveland. Cleveland, you are going to get the bottom of the rung of these guys. Basically, no one on that list. I don't think anyone are on that screen and that graphic. I don't think anyone on that graphic ends up in Cleveland. It's going to be somebody not on that graphic. It'll be a retread like a Mike McCarthy, who it's just like, whatever, dude. He's been overrated his whole entire career. Jason Garrett, if he should come back, I mean, there's talk about him going to a front office, but you get a Jason Garrett. And I like Jason Garrett. He's terrific at what he does. I wish he'd stay doing what he does. He's really good in the studio. And when he does spot work in the game, he is freaking terrific. He is really, really, really good. Great insight. Really good tonality. Real good. I like listening to Jason Garrett. Tremendous. So that's where I'm at right there. And again, I think Tomlin is going to get the axe. We'll see. LaFleur's going to stay. That probably comes off the board. You have Arizona that you need to add on there. But I see John Harbaugh one of two stops on that board that he's going to end up at. Giants are in the pole position, and I think Miami's probably a distant second. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But I had to get that out there about some of these guys that you just think that your program is the bomb. It's not. And you have to look at what you have to offer, what your value and what your assets are, and how that connects with the up-and-coming coach and where they are in the trajectory of their career. How much time do they got? How much patience do they have? How much of a rebuild do they want to go through? And I do have one more graphic here I want to pop up. Let me pop this up because this is kind of relevant. See if I can get this up here large enough. There's your draft picks. There is your draft order, excuse me. Vegas obviously is number 1. Jets, job's not open. Arizona's number 3 pick overall. Tennessee's number 4 pick overall. Usually when you're looking for a coach, that's how it works, right? Giants 5th overall, Cleveland 6th, and now they have the 24th as well. Washington not open. New Orleans, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Miami's at 11. Rams, Baltimore at 14. Let's see, Jets, Detroit, Minnesota, Carolina, Dallas, Pittsburgh, Chargers, and nobody else there below. So that obviously factors in is where's your draft pick? How many picks do you have? What's your cap situation? I don't have a graphic here for the cap situation, but that's certainly part of it too. And I know Cleveland has some picks coming up, and I know they have 2 first-rounders, but I don't think that's enough of a poll for John Harbaugh. So I want to commend, honestly. And if I'm wrong, I guess I'll have egg on my face, but I don't see him resigning with them, and I don't see them resigning him, especially with the way I think the game's going to turn out. Don't be fooled, folks. Don't be fooled by this. Oh, yeah, we won a couple of games, and oh, yeah, look, we're on a run now. No, you're not. You're not on a run. It's not going to happen. You're not going to win tonight. And if some miraculous thing happened tonight, you're getting bounced next week. So I don't see Mike Tomlin staying. So I give that man his due. Mike's a good dude. I think Mike's a good dude from what we know and what we see. And we wish Mike Tomlin well. And but the Giants' number 1 job, Cleveland is the bottom of the rung here, just above Tennessee. So we'll see how it all shakes out. We'll see if I end up being correct or not. And you guys can hit me up. I'm sure you will. The trolls will be out as soon as this goes out. Anyhow, in the upper right-hand corner there, scan the QR code and smash the subscribe button on YouTube. The number 1 place to find all of our material, live tweeting, all of the PB props and PB picks, all of the commentary and takes. It goes there first. It goes to YouTube second, on X at PB Sports Talks with an S on the end. Thanks for joining, everybody. Everybody have a great day. And remember, hug someone, hold someone, love someone. Life is truly short. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.